We're joined by arguably one of the most hardest working women on TV in comedy in South Africa currently. All-round entertainer Nina Hastie is a multi-talented comedian, actor, writer, radio and television personality. And we catch up with her today. Welcome back to The Loft, Nina.
Well, hello. You know, those like evil geniuses that are turn around in their chair and then they're sitting stroking their cat and they're like, hello.
And it seems like you're plotting a life-changing plan there, Nina. Who's that little one joining you?
The cat that's just left her entire body on my gorgeous shirt, that's Claudia Schiffer. And Claudia Schiffer, Naomi Campbell are the two furry friends that I have that keep me company here at home.
Oh, so they've been holding you down during lockdown. I mean, how has it been for you so far? From your social media, we've seen that you've been keeping extremely busy during lockdown.
Melissa, I have recently moved house during lockdown into a place that wasn't renovated yet. So there was like emergency level 4 plumbers I had to get into. My cat is now walking past the shot. She's insisting on being in this interview today. So on top of everything that I've been doing just from a comedy content perspective and just writing and creating and performing stuff for everybody's viewing pleasure, I've actually just been dealing with life and everything that has been throwing at me as well, you know?
Yeah. Nina, as much as you are such a hard worker, you seem, or rather you make it seem so effortless. Everyone on our social media was begging for Afternoon Express to have you. They were like, it's Youth Month, it's the month of June, call Nina Hastie, she's the girl for the job. And I think everyone also just wants to celebrate along with you your SAFTA Award nomination. I mean, congratulations. I think it says a lot to be patted on the back for the incredible work that you do. Now, many people know the Nina in front of the camera, but you're a very structured person. So tell us about the various processes in which you tackle working in front and behind the camera.
So, you know, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I studied film. I didn't finish. I landed up dropping out in my second year just to a variety of reasons. One, I couldn't afford film school at the time, but I really was insistent that I really wanted to be a writer. So I've written on a couple of shows over the years, and this last show that I wrote on, the producer locked me in a room. Now, what the producer did is when I got to work, she would put a security guard literally at my door and no one is allowed to disturb me. Now,
I win.
I have severe ADHD, so I really struggle to concentrate. And because I know this about myself, in order to create structure and discipline, I have to put all these boundaries in place in order for me to be effective. I don't necessarily trust myself not to get things done. So I need something to be accountable to. I need specific goals that I need to reach. And I need time frames, you know, so otherwise I would never get anything done.
Yeah, sometimes you have to call on the forces around you to help you be disciplined. I know all about that, so I can relate. Now, Nina, you've also been very open about your struggles with mental health, as well as your autoimmune condition, alopecia. Now, for those people who don't know what alopecia is, what is it? And how have you been able to empower yourself through this journey?
You know, there's a couple of things that are very important to me. So Nina Hastie is a business, right? I'm a private company. Nina Hastie Pty exists as a company. If I look at this product, if I look at this business, what is the thing that I need to make sure that this is the most effective business? Well, my brain. I need to make sure that my brain is running effectively. And what are the things that need to make my brain run effectively? My mental health needs to be on point. So in order for my mental health to be on point, I need to use a variety of sources to make sure that happens. Make sure that I'm seeking the right professional psychiatric help with regards to medication and understanding my depression, ADHD, bipolar disorder, all of those things that make it very difficult for me to function in society. I also see a cognitive behavioral therapist to handle the anxiety attacks and things like that. I know that these sound like, gosh, Nina, you're getting over 17 hurdles before you started your day. And yeah, you know, a lot of other people are also suffering with these things, but we need to normalize these conversations. I remember the first time I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I was very young, and somebody phoned me and said, you know, Nina, why didn't you tell me you were sick?
You?
Like, and I was like, is that something that you really want to be labeled as someone that's sick, you know, and I'm like, no, there's a couple of things, just as if I had epilepsy or diabetes or, some sort of disability that stopped me from being the most effective person. But then again, you have people that have one leg that can run a marathon faster than you and I. So I'm very conscious of these disabilities that I have, and I make sure that I cater to them and for them.
You've acknowledged that mental health is an absolute essential service during this time specifically, and you've been going live with your anxiety therapist. So tell us why you decided to share these sessions with everyone.
You know, I feel like a lot of South Africans, because mental health has got so much stigma around it, it's not only something that's misunderstood, but something that a lot of people don't have money for, or haven't catered for, or don't have medical aid, or don't have access to, that you can tap into what a therapy session looks like. It doesn't mean sitting for an hour talking about necessarily all your trauma. It might be just ways of dealing with that particular thing that you're dealing with today. There are different psychologists that use different types of therapy, but I was specifying with an anxiety specialist because I really feel that there's a lot of people dealing with massive amounts of anxiety that don't know if they have job security, home security, relationship security, all kinds of things that are affecting them at this particular time.
So Nina, continuing this conversation, something that was very therapeutic for you and a way in which you were able to kind of let go and let it flow is you have abandoned the need or the crutch that a wig, like some of us, keep on our heads, and you've taken another route. So please, may you explain that journey with us?
The alopecia journey?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I want to show you something. Can I show you something? It's a bit gross.
No, there's nothing gross here on Afternoon Express. We've seen it all. Please do show us.
Okay, so if you look over here, there's still a patch of hair that's missing over here.
Yeah.
I have a few of them around my head. I've lost all my hair before where it all fell out. And alopecia affects a lot of South African women, particularly if you've been putting stress on it by having high ponytails, weaves, etc., where you're literally pulling your hair. Now, if you look at the front here, see these little baby hairs that have grown out?
Yeah.
All of this, all the way back to about here, that started falling out again. And alopecia is an autoimmune disease that is triggered by stress, as well as not having enough protein in your diet. So you need to be making sure that you're eating enough protein and making sure that you get enough amino acids and things like that. Because at this stage, with COVID and all the rest of it, you really need to be looking after your immune system. So essentially, this had fallen out. I had about 6 different patches around my head. Now, this last bout of alopecia. And there's little products that you can use. I use like a hair fiber coverer, just so that for my own self-esteem and things like that. But you've got to let that hair breathe. If you've got patches like that, you've got to let that hair breathe. Don't suffocate it by covering it with wigs and things like that. Let those patches breathe if you can.
Yeah, we're definitely learning a lot from you, Nina, through your vulnerability and opening up. I'm sure there are so many viewers out there, South Africans, who identify with this journey and who are like, finally, someone who is shedding a light on this. Oh, we've got another friend there who also wants to shed some light.
Naomi Campbell.
Oh, is that Naomi Campbell? We're just a room full of supermodels, and we're not just talking about you, Nina. So I'm just glad that you are shining a light and empowering yourself in this way and saying, look, flaws and all, this is who I am, and I'm coming to you regardless, and not letting anything kind of hide or shun me from who I really am supposed to be. So we appreciate you for that, Nina.
Thank you, Palisa, and thank you so much to the SABC3 viewers and everybody on Afternoon Express. I really appreciate it. It's so nice to be on your screens. Guys, don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't worry about the glitz and the glam. We're over that. This is time to be real. 2020 has shown us this is a time to be real with yourself and to be real about the people that are around you so that you can share where you need strength. And there's no harm in that, and there's no shame in that either.
We appreciate your loud voice on this matter and being so brave.
Thank you so much, Palisa. Thank you so much to everybody that's watching. I hope you guys are all happy and safe and keeping a social distance.
Yabo! And on on that note, social distancing as we all stay at home. Make sure you engage with us on social media. That was Nina Hastie, South Africa, proving that whether you battle with autoimmune functions or whether you have mental health issues, you are able to overcome time and time again. So how are you overcoming, South Africa? Share that knowledge with us, share that advice with us. But remember to use that hashtag Afternoon Express in all of your comments.